What's up, everybody? My name is Bo. This is the Retail Diary. I am with Level Up Limited. This show is dedicated to those who are in retail management. It's a culture in and of itself, something we grow in, something that we go through. Oftentimes, it's a stepping stone from one place to the next, and some, like myself, it made it 10 years. So, a little bit about myself. I did retail management 15, 12 years. Okay, I round up. 12 years was a long time. I did it with the same company and I had a good time. There's a lot of good things that came out of it. Learning, education, people, teamwork, sales, operations, the whole nine. But I mean, anybody that's been there knows that it's all a game. It's holidays, it's not holidays, it's what you get to do with your time is more limited. Sometimes you're there at 5 in the morning, and sometimes you're there at 11 at night, and sometimes you're doing overnights when inventory's coming up. Everybody knows that inventory is a big deal, man. Everybody's got to be there. Everybody's got to be on board. But today, I'm going to talk a little bit about what it takes to win, being competitive, staying competitive. And check it out. Like, even as a retail manager, I want to get your thoughts of generative AI. It's a big part of what we're doing. I help it sort the thoughts in my brain. I sometimes appreciate a little direction when it comes to organization. So today I want to talk about winning. It's one way to approach and address a lot of things, and I'm a big fan of winning. And in the organization of retail, winning is often used as the form of what we're doing, sales in general. I think it's a common theme across most sales industries, but in retail, we're winning. It's not it's not an event, and if you've been a retail leader, you understand that culture is a big part of the process and the development of culture. And there's a couple different ways to chop at that onion. The onion will make you cry. Retail will make you cry. But when you slice it in a way that it looks like you're developing something that is to be operationally long term, you deviate from let's win today to let's win most of the time over time. Let's win championships. And you win championships by developing this culture. But there's a couple different ways you can approach the culture thing. What is your strategic objective? When you look at something from a surface level and you just want to go out there and win today, then you're going to come up short on the long term. People, you can drive business to be successful today, but you need to be successful in the long term. So you have the vision, the mission of the organization, and to communicate that to your associates in your team takes an understanding of where they're at, to meet them where they're at. Because not everybody wants to, nobody. In fact, I found that most people are just not, don't want to go and work for this organization, especially in retail. A lot of times the positions are just above minimum wage. One of the challenges that I've had to overcome is the conversations, and it's not so much challenges, but it's part of the conversation that you have. Like, why don't I make more money? I want to make more money, and it's hammering away at it. And it's because a lot of these associates get hammered away at by customers. This is behavior that can be learned, and it's learned from customers because customers are coming in, and depending on the type of retailer you work at, right? Big box retailer, when it's a race to the bottom, Customers want, they're not going to be happy until it's free. And I'm not downplaying customers at any point in time. Customers is something we'll talk a lot about, and the most important fundamental part of the business. But I'm saying that your associates kind of running into you about the dollar figure. So they're not bought, right? So you, as a leader, need to be a salesperson in so much as you got to sell them on the idea and the construct. They work for you. They don't work for this organization. And that's your proposition. You work for an organization. Oftentimes, leaders in retail will be compensated more in line with, say, cost of living. But now that you are leading a group of people that need this convincing, they're there for various reasons, different reasons. I know I had guys that worked at the building because they didn't want to be stuck at, they're retired. They're retired. They didn't want to stick at home all day. So it wasn't this huge commitment, this buy-in. They weren't dying to see this organization thrive. But people work for people. We work in the people business. Every business is a people business, and here is no different. So when you get the people to buy into you, what are you doing? What excites you? What kind of gait do you walk with? What is your swagger? What is your step? What is your approach to every day? And they will see how you do this. What you do when you walk in the building, everybody watches. And I think something that's unique about a retail environment, particularly a big box retail environment, is that there's 150 people, 100 to 200 people working in one building that you see very often. Your cadence, your approach has to appeal to a larger audience than if you worked in, say, an office of five, or even an office of 20 with three people that report to you. You don't see many of the other people in retail business. You see every single person every single day. At least you better. Like, that's part of the jam. You got to go and talk to all. You got to be a leader. You got to show face. And you got to be there. That's, on the sales floor, leading from the front. That's a frontline leader. But how you do anything is how you do everything. So the little things add up and stack up. And that's what I talk about when I talk about building a winning culture. Culture, um, it can, it will be, the culture will occur regardless of what you say or do. And over time, it develops and ingrains, becomes habits, becomes routines. And if you suddenly want to change who you are and how you approach everything every single day, people are going to take notice. There's resistance to change. So opportunity exists when you first come on as a leader, particularly because then you have the opportunity to set the standard that people can expect from you. And that standard can be, we're cool with these behaviors, or we're not cool with these behaviors. The example that I like to use is Bill Walsh, his 49ers football team, and the dynasty that he created. It was very important to him that him and the team had a standard of excellence, like the minimum standard that you had to meet. It wasn't like a low standard. It was something that it was when wide receivers run a route within inches. It demanded to be within inches, and that standard of excellence sewn through all the way into championships. That was the way they practiced. The way you practice is the way that you play games, and that's how you win championships. When you show up to the championship game and you don't do anything different, you've already been here. It's just repeating the same process because that's how you've developed the culture. The way you dress, what you wear, are you punctual? Is it tolerated that you're late? Any deviation from standard is, allowed in a certain capacity. And that's why it's important that as a leadership team, that you have in the big box or any really retail environment, you have a store manager, you have assistant store manager and or managers, but the collective understanding of what we're developing as a culture needs to be communicated. And that's holds true across any organization is that the level of communication has to be exceedingly high at all times because that communication continues to help people buy in, stay committed. And I truly believe everybody shows up to work with positive intent. Everybody wants to go do a good job. They just need to be reminded what a good job looks like. To either it be modeled, to be spoken. And that's why the best leaders, the best visionary, transformative, transformational leaders across industries are extraordinarily good at communication and consistent in often communication to communicate the vision, to communicate the dream. And I'll use Elon Musk as an example. Opinions withheld, but his ability to craft a compelling vision catapulted a company, a car company, and it launched, catapulted, quite literally, a rocket company. This vision that is transformational that we're gonna go to Mars. And what a fine idea. What a pie in the sky idea and then have the vision, the capacity, and the wherewithal to communicate it consistently with conviction that's like, I'm not kidding. We're going to Mars. Albeit we haven't been to Mars yet, but spoken in such a way that it allowed people to dream and it allowed people to be a part of something bigger. Bring it back down to your store. It's not going to the moon or Mars, but these people that are individuals that have families, that have lives, that have kids, that are a brother, that are a sister, that you as the retail leader are the topic of conversation at their dinner tables when they go home. These folks want to believe just as much as anybody else that what they're doing is important, and that's your job to make them feel that way. And your job is also to figure out how to align it with the organization's mission. And you echo that sentiment, you relate it, you correlate it to the behaviors and the actions and what is done inside your building, which you have control over. You learn and you understand folks' lives, and yeah, and you listen. You listen to people. If you listen to somebody, they're going to love you, and that's the most important part. People want to be heard. People want to be understood. People want to be respected. And you take care of your associates, then you take care of your customers. Your team will thrive on what you do. If they know exactly what they need to do, they want to do it. People want to come to play ball. People want to win. So if your standard of excellence, what do you demonstrate? Whatever you're demonstrating, you should expect nothing less or nothing more. You certainly understand that like what you put in is what you're going to get out, and that's true for leadership. That's probably true across the board. Like, if you show up and your boss is gunning for the gunning for the win every day, and every step is intentional, every act is purposeful, it's you can see it visually, you can sense it by someone's cadence and attitude, then your team is more likely to buy into, okay, all right, he's doing it, let's go. She's doing it, I should probably get on board. But if you show up and you're there to pass the time, you can expect that same out of your associates, out of your team. You shouldn't expect anything else. It would be silly to. So I'm gonna wrap it up here. That's We'll do that for today. And next time we'll talk about how strategy, the vision, the mission of an organization thrives on execution. It's the doing part that's important. Catch you next time.